Shopify is a global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business and sell more with less effort thanks to the Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/redcircle, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/redcircle now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/redcircle.
All right, HBCU Legends fans, it's Kyle T. Mosley. It's week 3 in HBCU football this season. We have special games that are going to be played right here in the Houston area. We'll talk about those games. We're going to spend some time with Kim Davis, who's launching a new show here in the Houston area. And also we'll have conversations with Marsai Martin, as well as NCCU coach of basketball, Lavelle Moten. So Kyle Anthony had a great conversation with Marsai Martin when she had Cy's summer cookout at Texas Southern during the Labor Day Classic weekend, and she gave us some time to sit down and talk. So let's enjoy that conversation. Plus, let's talk a little bit about the NFL. Right now, it's 2025, and the NFL has kicked off with a bang, guys. And when you're playing fantasy, I love to play using Underdog Fantasy app because Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Now, get this. If you get your picks right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. And you can play with as little as $1. Now, this weekend, the battle between the Eagles and Mahomes and the Chiefs. If Mahomes can throw over 220 yards, that's higher for me. If Jalen Hurts can be able to score more than 2 touchdowns, I believe it's going to be under for me. So it's just that simple. You choose the player, you choose the stat, you choose the sport, you choose how you want to play. So go and download the app today. Sign up with the promo code HBCU Legends to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code HBCU Legends. Millions of fans already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? So, if I were you, go to UnderdogFantasy.com, download the app today, and use the promo code HBCU Legends.
Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
All right, guys, it's a great weekend in sports coming up. We're going to just give you a quick premiere of the 5 top games, in my opinion, in HBCU football that's going to be airing on broadcast this weekend. So last night, Clark Atlanta and Fort Valley State had a wonderful game, a great game that was called by Jay Walker and Tiffany Green. Those guys at ESPN did a fine job. It was a close game. The score was 26-21. Yeah. And it came down to the wire. It was a thrilling, epic game. And it could be one of those pivotal games in SIAC. So congratulations, Coach Keaton. Zion McDonald, he was fantastic as the quarterback, but keep your eye on the young quarterback out of Fort Valley State. His name is Mr. John Dutton Yeah, and he did a great Don Hudson Jr., and he did a great job. Sorry about that. And let's turn our attention to the top 5 games that are being played on the air. So you can't go wrong because it's going to be the House versus Howard in the HBCU NY Classic. That's going to be on HBCU Go. Check those guys out. Now, there's another great game that's going to be going down. Alabama A&M at Tennessee State. That's the Legacy Series Classic. So check that game out. It's going to be on ESPN Plus. Virginia Union will battle Edward Waters in the Unity Classic. That is going to be on ESPN Plus as well. Now, what makes this game so important? Because the Panthers, of course, dominating CIAA, and Edward Waters now with Coach Eric Dooley and Noah Bodden at quarterback. Eric Dooley is the offensive mastermind, so to speak, and he has had the Wildcats just throwing the ball up and down the field, and they're doing a great job putting points, and they're 2-0 at this time in the SIAC. Next, Texas Southern will be hosting Lamar. I will be at that game at Shell Energy Stadium. Last year, Texas Southern went to Beaumont to play Lamar, nearly stole it from those guys in Beaumont. And I think right now the Tigers will be looking to defend their home turf and also be able to build on that progress as they go into their SWAC conference play. The next game, the Pirates of Hampton, who played pretty tightly the Jackson State Tigers last weekend, they're going to take on North Carolina A&T. That's Sean Gibbs and his team. They're smarting off of a 60-point loss to UCF. Well, that was to be expected. But these teams are closer than people think. And that's going to be one of those rival games from the CAA. Both of those teams used to be in the MEAC years ago. This is one of the games that you got to be able to put on your calendar and take a watch. So those are the top 5 games that I have on my calendar. But Prairie View at Rice is another one that's going to be on ESPN. You have also, let's see here, Miles at Alabama State. Can Miles do some damage to the Hornets, who are hot right now and stinging everybody that they play? Andrew Body is just brilliant. I call him a poet on the field. He's the maestro, I should say, on the field, what he's been doing. Bethune-Cookman at South Carolina State is another game to kind of look at. Alcorn State takes on Mississippi State. We pretty much know the Braves are not at full capacity. Norfolk State is going to take on Rutgers. That's going to be Michael Vick's big showing up there in Rutgers. But Tuskegee at Jackson State, that game, if we had to say there are 6 games, I would have to put that one as the 6th game. Reason why? Because Tuskegee can play, and people are not giving them enough credit. Jackson State's defense can shut down when they choose to shut down. Can they play 4 full quarters? Because Tuskegee has little pesky wide receivers out on the edge. Those guys can do some damage downfield. So let's see how everything translates in week 4. There are other good games to be able to watch, but those are the ones that we are highlighting here on HBCU Legends. So let's take you into our first guest. Our first guest, of course, she is the Blackish star. I recall watching her when she first came on the air as the youth. And she has really taken Hollywood by storm. I think she has a lot of great potential. She's a beautiful person, beautiful spirit. That's Marsai Martin. She's an executive producer in Hollywood as well, guys. So she's doing some great things, but she wanted to take some of her HBCU roots because both of her parents went to Texas Southern, and she wanted to be able to come in and be able to just tell people about how to love one another through a cookout. Well, it kind of rained that Labor Day weekend in Houston. They didn't have the cookout. They had some activities inside the gymnasium. Kyle Anthony was there. He is our culture reporter and entertainment reporter for HBCU Legends. So listen up to that interview. Kim Davis, of course, she's with us with the Black Sports Insiders here in Houston. If guys don't know, Kim was the first Black female sports reporter in the Houston area. And she covered sports on a full-time basis for a news station. So congratulations for Kim to be able to get back into talking about sports in H-Town. I think it's called H-Town Sports Talk. So congratulations, Kim, on that. And we're going to have a conversation with head coach Lavelle Moten, who brought up a really interesting conversation about the late George Raveling. Guys, if you don't know that, he's one of the pioneers of Black coaches in basketball. He also was the executive that brought Michael Jordan and helped to launch the Jordan brand. And he's a pivotal figure that just passed away last month. He's a Hall of Famer, and he's done a lot of great things. Now, here's the interesting story, and I'll let Coach Moten talk to you about it. But when he was a college student, he went to go listen to Dr. King, and he was right there at the I Have a Dream speech. They pulled him to the side, made him security, and after Dr. King got off that podium with the speech, he gave it to George Raveling. So Coach Moten will speak on that. All right, guys, sit back, relax, and have a good time listening to Marsai Martin, Kim Davis, and Coach Lavelle Moten. Also, guys, I was reminded we have a bonus track for you guys. I had a conversation with the president of the Las Vegas Raiders, Sandra Douglas Morgan, and we're going to share that interview as well as the other 3 interviews on the program. Great interview with her because they are hosting the Las Vegas HBCU Classic that's going to go down October 25th in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium between Jackson State and Grambling State. 2-story programs coming together to be able to battle in Las Vegas. It's the second time that a team played in Las Vegas. I think Grambling was a part of that first one as well a few years ago. So let's see how this one goes and enjoy all of the conversations. HBCU Legends fans from all over the world, it's Kyle T. Mosley here with another installment of HBCU Legends podcast, and we have a trailblazer with us today. She's a visionary, and she's been responsible for bringing the new HBCU Las Vegas Classic that will feature Grambling versus the champs at Jackson State University to Las Vegas in Allegiant Stadium, and it will be a great affair in October. It's none other than the president of the Las Vegas Raiders, Sandra Douglas Morgan. How you doing, Sandra?
I'm great, Kyle. Thank you so much for having me today.
Or should I say, call you Madam President? Which one do you prefer?
Sandra is just fine, but thank you for asking. Yeah.
Well, look, I have to ask because I've been admiring your career for a long time, and when you made it to become the president, I tried to reach out to you guys several times, and but I'm so glad now we had an opportunity to be able to sit down and talk.
Well, yeah, I'm obviously very glad to meet you and love what you're doing with just highlighting HBCUs and having a consistent message so that people know where to go when they want to know what's going on with these incredible institutions.
Definitely. You guys have a lot going on in Vegas right now, especially with the big fight coming up. How's the preparation going?
I'm so excited for that. And with all the other events that we're bringing to Allegiant Stadium, to have boxing for the first time this Saturday, Canelo versus Crawford, it's going to be such an incredible event. And I am a boxing fan. I grew up in Las Vegas, grew up with my parents and family members all coming around to watch the fight, had an opportunity to serve on the athletic commission here in Nevada, which really focuses on boxing and mixed martial arts for a short period of time. But it is just such it's just a wonderful, there's no questions. It's man against man or woman against woman, with just the process and the event and the excitement of it all. And to be able to host it here at Allegiant Stadium is incredible. I know there's a lot of pre-fight activities going on all around the city, but we are really looking forward to, not only Saturday, but then our home opener on Monday night against the Chargers.
Yeah, well,
fun weekend.
Look, you guys did very good. Pete Carroll and Geno Smith, those guys gave you your first W of the season.
Yes.
I apologize.
Yeah, first dub, definitely.
Yeah.
It was great to
Got
do
the
it
dub, right?
in New England. Yeah.
Look, I love Geno Smith and I love Pete Carroll. His energy that he brings at the rightful age of 70. We're not going to say what, but it's great to be able to have him back in football. Talk about what was responsible for the Raiders organization to be able to make this unique change to bring somebody like Carroll back into the fold?
It all starts with our team owner, Mark Davis. And that is really, his vision and desire is just to win with all things. And, Pete being who he is, seeing what he did at USC and what he did with the Seahawks and just the person he is, age aside. I mean, I really don't think that it's about how you can kind of truly motivate people and care about your players and make sure they understand that every single thing that they do matters, right? How you kind of live and work and operate and how you do things actually matters, and that translates onto the field. He's an incredibly optimistic force and energy throughout the building, well beyond the football team. It clearly is permeating in the business side and the operations that I run day to day. So it's just, I'm truly grateful just to be a part of this. The win was very energetic and needed for our organization. We've had a lot of transition and it feels good right now. And for him to be leading the charge, that clearly was, at the direction of Mark Davis and, other members in the organization. And so I'm just happy to be a part of it. But, to have a proven winner like Pete, it's something that we're all just happy to be near.
Yeah, definitely. Very energetic and very passionate about what he does. And he's done it at a high level, of course. But
Yes.
You, as the president of the Las Vegas Raiders, being a Las Vegas native and having the franchise to be able to, set their roots in Las Vegas, how special was that for you to know that your hometown will be host city of not only the team, but of the Super Bowl and other special events?
No, it's absolutely incredible. When I was growing up here, there were probably about 400,000 people. My mother worked in the gaming industry. She was a keno runner and did different jobs. My father retired at the Air Force Base, Nellis Air Force Base. Shout out to Nellis. And that's how my family ended up, growing up here and getting our roots here. And honestly, professional sports never truly embraced the city of Las Vegas until relatively recently. We had gaming and there was obviously sports book and sports betting. And then with the repeal of PASPA, right, the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act, that allowed other states to kind of, now allow sports betting. And then people were coming to Las Vegas, and the Nevada Gaming Control Board, which I chaired at the time, saying, tell us how this works. What's your regulations like? How do you, work with the operators? What type of enforcement do you have? And so then that really kind of allowed people to say, okay, Vegas has been doing it and been doing that well for decades.
Right.
And they've been able to establish protections that have been in place now that other states are utilizing. And I think just with sentiment in gaming and that changing over time, it was like, okay, Las Vegas is ready. And we knew we were ready. We knew we were ready for a very,
Okay.
very long time. It just took a while for, I think, some other leagues and people to kind of acknowledge that. And I've often said it's not a dream come true, because when I was younger, I didn't see or even know what it would be like to be a team president, because
Really?
professional sports weren't here. No, they weren't. And they weren't here. My husband played for the Vikings and the Cardinals. And I remember when he was playing, I thought, okay, this is a whole nother kind of aspect of sports business that I never really knew existed. I've been a lawyer for well over 20 years, but never kind of was into, into that and understanding that. And I think he was one of the first that when the Raiders even mentioned, it would have been 2017, potentially relocating Las Vegas. And he was like, I don't think the city, because we've never had professional sports, can appreciate what an NFL team and a stadium can truly do for a community. So to be part of this, and now, being able to host incredible, we have 10 home games a year. And then on top of that, hosting incredible games like the Super Bowl, like the ESPN Classic that had USC and LSU, like the National, College Football Championships, which we'll be hosting in a couple of years, Final Four in 3 years. It's just great and incredible. Canelo versus Crawford, and then obviously concerts and everything else. To be able to have a venue like this, so that my children and this community has access to that, it's special and makes me very proud.
Truly special. I mean, just to name the events that you just rattled off is just going to be, oh, wow, you've got to go to Vegas to be in the know with what's happening in sports over the next few years. So that's very special. Look, you were the first Black city attorney in Nevada, and you chaired the gaming control board, right?
Yeah.
From those experiences, how did you approach or even come up with the vision of bringing to the forefront the HBCU Las Vegas Classic?
I would love to I really can't take credit for it. Let me give you a little bit of backstory, okay?
Okay.
So before I was even with the Raiders, Mark Davis definitely has an affinity for, and not just Mark, his father, Al Davis, being the first to draft a Black quarterback from an
Eldridge
HBCU,
Dickey.
right?
That's
so this
right.
is 1968. So this is before me. This was 10 years before I was even born, right?
Oh, now you're dating me there, Sandra. Come on.
All right. But I'm saying this is before me, right? This notion and understanding of the importance of HBCUs, seeing talent at HBCUs, whether it be in business or coaching or as players, that the Raiders history has established, again, well before I joined the organization in 2022. So when I was first approached about, do we want to have a Las Vegas HBCU Classic, I then went to my boss, who is Mark Davis, and he was like, absolutely, get it done. Right. So when you have that direction and say like, oh, do we think they're going to fly out here? Give me the numbers for the last game and who played in the matchups. There was none of that.
Yeah.
He just said, let's get it done. And Grambling State Band actually performed at one of the Raiders games in 2021. But again, beyond that, the Raiders have had over 80 players from HBCUs.
That's right.
And 2 head coaches, right, in Art Shell and Hugh Jackson, with HBCU connections. So the that I think love, adoration, support, and most importantly, respect for HBCUs runs deep in the Raiders, and we're just happy to be a part of it and to have a part in hosting the Las Vegas HBCU Classic on October 25th.
Man, that's special, because the ties that Al Davis had early on, from the old AFL to the NFL, to be able to get, I'm here in Houston, so Eldridge Dickey is a hometown legend in Houston, not just an HBCU legend, but he is to be the first African-American quarterback to be drafted in the first round was just incredible, right? Then you had the vision for him to place Art Shell as the first Black coach in the Super Bowl era. That was just amazing as well. And you could also talk about Hugh Jackson, who I know as well. So I would say this. The Raiders have a great connection and affinity to HBCUs. And thinking about the different people that come through HBCUs, how do you think this is going to really help your organization be able to get more people to support the Raiders as well as what's happening in Las Vegas?
Well, I'm hopeful that people, if they take the time to, obviously you watch the games, it was beautiful on Sunday, right? That's going to be step one. Step
Right.
two is when you take a step in and look at the history of organizations. And that is something that I think is different with the Raiders. We do have an international brand. We do have a history and a legacy of doing things kind of our way, that have been maybe a little bit different than the other 31 teams. Again, going back to what ownership and its players and its people and executives, what we stood for in the past, and how that's evolved now to Las Vegas. Our commitment to the community, our commitment to our Raiders Foundation, our commitment to all, people. If you look at our workforce, Kyle, and this is separate from football, right? We know
Okay.
we know what players look like. Our workforce. We have a incredibly diverse workforce, because I think that's important, not just to make sure there's certain quotas and numbers, but because it needs to reflect our fan base. And Raider Nation is one of the most diverse fan bases on the face of the earth.
Truly.
So very, very proud of our employee resource groups that include BASE for our Black employees, Familia for our Latino employees, and PACE for our Asian American Pacific Islander. And I shouldn't just say employees, because every single one of those groups, and this is what makes me so proud of this organization, every single one of the groups that I mentioned, in addition to Fierce, our women's ERG, has members of those employee resource groups that are not in that particular category or class, right? These are allies. These are groups that are saying, yeah, okay, this is a Black employee resource group. I may not be Black, but I'm joining because I want to support and understand, be able to mentor, be able to network, and be able to understand more about this culture. And I love it and there wasn't even a request or a mandate on behalf of the organization, but when we had those signups and I looked and see who the members were, it was everyone supporting everyone. And that's what it's all about. And that's what the Raiders have always been about. So I do hope that when people say, they see the HBCU Classic, they understand maybe a little bit more about the connection between the Raiders and HBCUs, and then allows them to dig a little bit more into our organization, understand who we are, why the Raider Nation is so strong and growing, why we're bold and do what we do the way we want to do it. And it'll show a grit. And I think because when you see how Raider Nation is built, so many people have gone through so many things, but at the end of the day, we're going to have each other's back and do what's right. And I'm really hopeful that, this HBCU Classic will bring, some of that to light.
Awesome. How does bringing this game featuring Jackson State as well as Grambling State, two storied programs in HBCU football, of course, bringing it to Las Vegas and strengthening the city's profile as a hub for major sporting events? How does this really help the HBCUs and amplify their visibility and their legacy?
Yeah, I'm hopeful. Actually, it'll be beneficial for everyone involved, right? I think it's going to help. I'm hopeful it's going to help the HBCUs by showing that they can look. We're the greatest city on earth, sports and entertainment capital in the world, and having these two teams and fans and players show up on the world's biggest stage, as far as I'm concerned, I think that's great for HBCUs. I'm hopeful that for the Las Vegas and the Nevada community, them being able to understand and learn some more about their history. We have an incredible HBCU grads and alum that live in Las Vegas that have served as elected officials, served as executives of resort properties. Our senior vice president for government and community affairs here at the Raiders is a Hampton alum. We have our assistant special teams coach is a Hampton alum. So we have HBCU grads here, but again, having this game here will, I think, amplify just the fact that so many people go to HBCUs and have incredible journeys and careers, which will hopefully help children and teens here in Las Vegas understand that, there's so many different options for them, and hopefully HBCUs can be one of them. 32nd Street Theater has been around for over 25 years, and that is a nonprofit that has actually taken Las Vegas teens and they go to different HBCUs every year during spring break. So I'm hopeful that program will probably have higher enrollment after this Classic once some of the kids here that maybe their parents didn't expose them to it. Maybe this game will give them a glimpse into it, and it'll pique their interest.
Man, that's awesome. I've had over 33 years of career planning and being able to help people in launching their careers here in the Houston area as well. Beyond the game itself, let's talk about how can the Raiders and the Classic help collaborate in areas with the student athletes as well as the students coming to visit Las Vegas for the game. How can you guys bring some exposure about the business of sports?
No, I'm hopeful that once, they're here to play a game, so obviously the team logistics and that schedule is going to take precedent. But I'm truly hopeful that when the teams are here, that there's going to be connectivity, not just from coach to coach, but from players to players, and showing them, access to our facility, understanding what players have been able to transition after they become alumni to the business side of the game. We're from a community perspective, we're very excited to have a pep rally that will be at the Fremont Street Experience in downtown Las Vegas, an
Okay.
HBCU alumni mixer, and a gospel brunch that will, again, give people that, maybe they are going to attend the game, maybe are not, but it'll be kind of adjacent to the game and they can understand more about the incredible teams at Grambling and Jackson State and what the city of Las Vegas has to offer. So I'm hopeful that more of those will kind of come together as the game gets a little bit closer, but we definitely are open to partnering with, both teams. We're having, a lot of our Silver and Black League is going to have a flag football kind of camps and having the children be in either Grambling or Jackson State and kind of role playing that game as that comes up, just to expose children to the game of flag football and also educating them about HBCUs in the process.
Wow. Looking at what you guys are doing, and it really warms my heart because I know Las Vegas, as well as we're having the New York City HBCU Classic up there this weekend with Morehouse, my alma mater, versus Howard. It seems like HBCU presence is branching out all across the nation right now, and these events help. Talk about the Classic, how it's going to contribute to Las Vegas long-term vision when it comes to being a premier sports and entertainment destination.
I think, well, first I want to say, I think it's incredibly important that HBCUs are receiving the well-deserved attention, and it should be more. Sorry, there's a helicopter going over. Because I think we're at a point where we need to reassure ourselves and our children, more importantly, that it is okay to be proud of who you are and understand your history and where you come from.
Right.
And that is what, I did not attend an HBCU, but I have a lot of friends who have, and let me tell you, they're the most proud and confident and people that I've ever met. And it's something that I think it would be, as a community that our children need to see more of. So whatever, they're teaching you guys at HBCUs, it's something that I think more people need to be exposed to. So whether it's in New York or Las Vegas, I think it's incredibly important, especially at this time. I just wanted to kind of say that. Now, with respect to, Las Vegas, we've often said our city is diverse. We actually have, outside of Oakland and the West Coast cities, the highest Black population. We're a little bit,
Really?
11%. Yes. 11%. It's not huge. So it's nothing compared to Houston or anything else, but we're talking about kind of West Coast cities, right?
Yeah.
And I think Las Vegas has always been seen as a place of opportunity. And I can speak for my mother as well, in that you can have a job in mainly even gaming initially, we're looking at 70s and 80s and 90s, and be able to make a fair wage with benefits and take care of your family. And that's why we've gone from, 400,000 residents to over 2.5 million, because people know that they can earn, a good living here and be able to take care of their family. And it's also often said that, it doesn't matter if you're black, white, or brown in Las Vegas, that what the city cares about most is green. And that's
True.
probably why we've been able to host over 30 million, visitors. And so I think having, this HBCU strong alumni base come out, we want to be able to host it. The city wants to host all different demographics. There's something for everyone here, as you know, whether it be, somebody, they're foodies and they care about culinary arts, where it's someone about the arts district that is growing every single year, concerts, residencies and shows, shopping, everything. It's much more than, machines and tables. like it was, a long time ago. Now that's still there if that's what you're looking for, but there's so many different entertainment options around it because of the growth of sports. And so I think that having, an HBCU alum demographic is incredibly important. I think our partners, not just on the strip and in downtown, but in the city as a whole, want to welcome as many people as possible. And we just know, for me, I will say for the stadium, if you go get your foot in the door and you have that experience, for it may be the HBCU Classic and you're cheering for Grambling or Jackson State, but the next time that, let's say, Beyonce comes to town, they may think, maybe I can go see her. Well, I shouldn't have said that because you're from Houston, but as another artist, they may say, hey, I may want to check her out in Las Vegas because that experience was so rich when they came to Allegiant Stadium for the first time.
Look, when I was much younger, Las Vegas was my preferred destination.
Okay.
And I got one of the best concerts I ever seen was Ray Charles.
Oh, wow.
Right there. And I was up front, first table, looking at Ray Charles, and it was just an amazing concert. Got to see the Blue Men as well as Siegfried and Roy, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So those are lasting memories, but this game could be a lasting memory as well. Talk about the economic impact for you guys, as well as talk about the long-term agreement that you guys are planning to have to continue this game after 2025.
Well, I'm hopeful. I know that we've often said it's the inaugural HBCU Classic. And so the exact time and the location and the date, location being in Las Vegas, obviously, but the actual date of those, I think, are going to be determined going forward. But I do know that with HBCUs comes a very strong alumni, and they're not just going to come here and go to the game. They're going to spend their money at different properties. They're going to attend some of the shows. I know Siegfried and Roy's in here, but I think Blue Man is still around, and all the other shows that are up and down, the city. They're going to eat, they're going to shop, and they're going to do everything else. And I think after this kind of inaugural game, I know there was a game here about 3 years ago, but this being the Las Vegas HBCU Classic, we'll be able to track. And I know we're work hand in hand with the Las Vegas and Convention Visitors Authority. They also worked very closely and helped, support this game to come here in Las Vegas. And so I know they're working with our team at the stadium and the promoters and the event organizers to make sure that, this is a full weekend full of events, and so we can properly track the economic impact that I know will be great after the game.
Wow, that's tremendous. All right. Now, we can't let you get off the hook. I know you say you have a lot of friends who are HBCUers, but you have a HBCU-like connection. You're a part of the Divine Nine. Tell everybody about it.
I'm a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and have been for over 25 years. I had my silver star last year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And, being a part of such an illustrious organization of women who have taught me just everything from, meeting protocol to etiquette to having a budget to running an event to, showing up in a certain way and making sure that you're representing your organization in the right way is something and skills that I take with me every single day. So just really proud to be a member of not only Alpha Kappa Alpha, but the Divine Nine as a whole. And I have sisters and friends that are members of every single sorority, to be honest with you. These are my closest friend group. We cover every single one. And it's just a great bond to have and a great, again, connection to our history, the importance of why, these sororities and fraternities were created. And it's an incredible lifelong bond that I'm just proud to be a member of.
Yeah, true lifelong bonds. I have so many friends. I wasn't able to pledge. I'm a chemistry major, I tell people. So when I didn't have time to pledge. But in all seriousness, UNLV, you have a connection with a previous UNLV guy, and he has a church out there now, and he was a great NFL player, Randall Cunningham.
Yes.
Do you think you guys can be able to get him to be able to help support the HBCU Classic that's going to go on?
Be happy to reach out to Randall. He actually was supportive and did some work with the Raiders, and he played 1 year. My husband played his first year at the Vikings when it was Randall's retirement.
Really?
And he was my husband's idol. My husband had Eagles cleats from when he was a young boy. So it was a dream come true for him to be able to play with Randall, and we've seen him. So I will definitely reach out if someone already hasn't. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Proud
great to have
UNLV quarterback. Yeah, very, very beloved here in the city.
very beloved, but still HBCUs. I can remember when I was growing up, I love Randall Cunningham. So I know these young guys love Michael Vick. Randall Cunningham was the Michael Vick before Michael Vick.
Right.
So very important. Last thing, Sandra, when it comes to this event, I saw the ticket sales are doing very well from what you guys have been posting out on social media. What would you want the people to understand in coming to Las Vegas and what they can be able to experience in a safe and fun environment?
Sure, Kyle. Well, there's plenty of tickets available, so I don't want people to hear that and think, "Oh no, it's all sold out." Please, please come. We have incredible. I'm going to talk about the stadium for a little bit. Incredible stadium. There's no bad seat in the house. Some of the best food and beverage and concessions that you can find. Some incredible private clubs, and there is an incredible walking bridge that will take you straight over to be at the end of the strip. Oh, there's the beautiful stadium right there. So it is. Consistently been one of the safest stadiums. Obviously, that's why we've been able to host such premier events like the ones I mentioned earlier, whether it be the Super Bowl, the Pro Bowl, National Football College Championship. Our police department and our security are some of the best in the world. They've literally consulted with people all over the world on large scale events because we've been able to host so many. And, it's going to be a safe, fun, light environment. Obviously, you're going to see and hear from both bands. But look at that. I mean, I'm biased, but that's honestly the best stadium
It
that I've
is
ever
a very
seen.
beautiful stadium. Yes.
Yeah, and you're able to do it at with tickets ranging around $65, so it's not an overly expensive ticket price to kind of get into and have an incredible experience in the sports and entertainment capital of the world.
Excellent. Well, Sandra, it's been a pleasure. And I know a lot of people from Jackson State are still eager to be able to get there. I haven't heard too much from the Grambling Knights, but I'm pretty sure if they Mickey Joes have them in the winning ways when it comes to kickoff time, you're going to have a lot of them from Louisiana heading your way as well. But
I do want to make a quick, if you go to LV HBCU Classic on Instagram, I know they've been trending on the number of tickets as to where they're purchased, if it's Grambling's purchasing more tickets or Jackson State.
Yes.
So they can always follow that and see how your school's doing.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I was about to segue into. Thank you for reading my mind. But the Las Vegas Raiders, thank you for continuing supporting HBCU efforts. I know on my platform, it means a lot, especially from an NFL side, to be able to have that sort of engagement and being able to help be advocates for HBCUs.
Well, thank you, Kyle. Thank you again for what you're doing.
You're welcome. Any last thoughts before we get off?
No, just thank you for having me. Please come out to the Classic again. It's going to be Saturday, October 25th at 3 p.m. Excited to host it, and any other event at Allegiant Stadium as well. Go to allegiantstadium.com or Raiders.com, more importantly, and understand and learn a little bit more about the silver and black, and go Raiders.
Yeah, the event will be on October 25th. That's a Saturday at Allegiant Stadium, one of the best stadiums in all of the National Football League. And also, guys, there's a lot of accommodations. This is Las Vegas. You can find a hotel room or somewhere to be able to lay your head.
Plethora.
And just make sure you take care of your coin when you go, guys. Sandra, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience this morning.
You're welcome. Take care.
Bye.
Hi, my name is Kyle Anthony Mosley from HBCU Culture on the HBCU Legends at Sports Illustrated, and I am here with the one and the only Marseille Martin. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, just walk us through the process. You're back home in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
We know you're from Dallas. We're not going to talk too much about that because we do know how that can get, the beef between Dallas and Houston.
Please.
One city has a superiority complex, but we're not going to say who.
Oh.
But
Okay.
I didn't say who. She acknowledged that it was clearly Dallas. Anyway, but that's neither here nor there. It's neither here nor there. But for real, what inspired you to bring it back home to Texas? Bring the people together.
Oh, honestly, I knew I wanted to put it back in my home state from the beginning. I think it's the space where, of course, I believe the cookout was created in my brain, of course, with family and friends always around. I wanted to make sure that, you know, Texas was able to get its love. And, of course, alongside that, most of my family went to TSU. So it only makes sense, you know, everything pretty much aligned to be able to come to the campus and their team welcoming us with open arms and working on this for the past since October. So
that's crazy.
I think so we are excited to be here. So much more to come, so many surprises for today, and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Now I want to touch bases on the fact that you know, people have questions for you in terms of, you know, because you grew up you know, on TV for the most part. You got to Blackish and you were there really young, and those experiences, they molded you to be, you know, a more professional person. Mm-hmm. So moving into an environment, you know, back on the HBCU campuses, how do you feel like you as a role model are giving back to these kids, you know, showing them, you know, the best way to uplift themselves and, you know, moving forward in life?
Yeah, you know, for me, it's always been about bringing people into my world that I know was so beautiful and protected. And I'm so grateful to have had an amazing family that was always around and supporting and making sure that different pockets of peace were there, such as cookouts and community was there, even when things felt so different. So honestly, it really starts with allowing people into my mind of making it a safe space. You know, I feel like during this time of, HBCU students and campuses and the things that are going on in the world, our events are constantly under attack. And the things that we put in place that are known for multiple generations are now being stripped away. So I think to be able to give back in this way of just letting people just breathe, to just be and to connect with their loved ones. And not only that, but connect with role models that they would never think they would talk to in millions of years, you know? And combining these two worlds of, you know, or maybe even three of my friends and family and what I grew up with here in Texas. And then you have HBCU culture and the rich history behind that, as well as the industry that I'm in. You know, there's so many students that want to be actors and actresses and producers and writers and cinematography and all of those things, to where there is one communal space where you are able to get all your questions answered and walk out of the cookout inspired and excited, and to start this semester on a great note.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Touching on that, you spoke about the culture just now. I know you were at the Labor Day Classic yesterday. Mm-hmm. You know, TSU did lose. It was a little upsetting.
See, they lost, but it was a really strong game. I was like, you can't even, like, you could be so mad. You could be so mad, but it wasn't like a terrible loss, which I'm happy about.
You should have seen us in the press box. We were losing our minds.
Oh my God, it was crazy. But, you know, I don't know much about football. I just know, like, it was fun.
You were in that movie.
Fantasy.
Okay.
Hello? Fantasy football.
You had to read the script so that way you could get into character.
Yeah. I learned a lot about Madden.
Okay, you learn more about the game online than the game in real life?
Hey, that's what acting is for, sir.
Okay, yes, we do know acting is truthfully under imaginary circumstances.
Yeah, it ain't method. It ain't method over here.
Okay, now let me ask you, since you were there, you saw the bands perform, right?
Yes.
So, all right, everybody at home, open your ears up. Who did you think was better?
Oh my gosh.
You know Ocean of Soul?
I wasn't just there. I was also at the Battle of the Bands. I went there.
So you saw both of PV and TSU's performances these past few weekends. Okay.
Yeah. I was at both places.
All right, so I need to know how you feel overall about both bands.
I mean, listen, I think everyone is great. I think it's fire. I mean, if I blew a little trumpet, it would sound terrible. So someone who can, absolutely. But of course I gotta go with,
The Ocean of Soul.
Ocean of Soul.
Okay. Y'all heard it here. She said the Ocean of Soul was clearly far better and superior than Prairie View's Lightning Storm. I'm
See,
not one to disrespect my people from PV like that at all. Got tons of friends and family that went there too. But the Ocean of Soul runs Houston. We run the area.
The competition is just so deep. Like you can't even.
She knows where her heart is. Y'all saw it.
It was crisp. It was really clean, especially in Battle of the Bands. Like it sounded so clean. Like,
they got a lot of technicality, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
They're really good. Director Simmons, he does a great job over there at TSU.
Really, really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But, last question. Well, I don't think this will actually be my last question, but I am going to wrap it up around this point. But I need to ask you, next year, where are we having this event?
I already know. It's going to have to be a surprise to you guys. What do you think it's going to be, is my question.
You already know my prediction. But, I'm biased. I'm praying it's going to be in New Orleans because, it's just lit up in New Orleans. If we have something in the Crescent City, I'm turned. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, I will be there. Y'all should be there. If it's in New Orleans, I don't know if it's anywhere else, if y'all should attend, though. I'm just kidding.
You should attend every year.
Black excellence. Attend.
You should attend every year. I will say it's a space that in my opinion, doesn't receive a lot of love. Okay. It's kind of overlooked most times. So I think.
So maybe it ain't New Orleans, y'all.
Yeah. But I'm genuinely excited to be at the said place. Because I have been to this said place a lot of times.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell everybody to turn the notifications on.
Turn your notifications on.
Because we need to know.
Let's get through this cookout first,
Charlotte,
right?
North
Let's get
Carolina,
through Houston.
Maybe? No clue. No clue. We have no clue.
We have
zero clue. I have no clue where this event will be. I have zero clue.
You're just going to have to stay tuned, guys.
Yeah. But I want to thank Marseille. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
It was great having this conversation with you. It's not every day you get to talk to a living legend. Somebody's going to grow into her craft and become a real icon.
I appreciate you, man.
I just want to thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course. All right, y'all. This is Kyle Anthony with HBCU Legends, and we will see you next time on the podcast. Have a good day.
All right, this is Kyle T. Mosley, and one of our favorites from the Black Sports Insiders. She's got a new show, but we should be pleased and we should be very proud of her. It's none other than our friend Kim Davis. What's going on, Kim?
Hey, Kyle.
You got a new show, man. It's in Houston, and you're doing well, and you're going to be partnering on the CW39 network. Is that correct?
It is correct. And, it really came together pretty quickly. The news director there used to be the news director at 11. I do a fair amount of stuff with the show over there. So she is now at the CW, reached out to me and said, this is what we got going on. So it's kind of like radio, but on, how you get to have more conversations?
Yeah.
So it's real sports talk.
Yeah.
But it's on TV. So I'm excited about it.
I'm excited for you. I'm very proud of you, number one.
Thank you.
And when I saw the news, I had to call Cooper and at least tell him what was going on with you as well. But so who's the co-host? Is it Mr. Gilmore?
Yeah, so Brad Gilmore, who quite frankly I had never met until about maybe a week or two ago. He has done he does a lot in the combat sports space, which is not a space I work in. But
interesting.
He's done a lot with Booker T. I think they've been doing stuff together for a long time.
I know who you're talking about now. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So so Brad was already doing some things at the CW. He does like an entertainment segment. So when the general manager decided to do this, he tapped Brad, and the news director is like, well, I need Kim Davis. I mean, that's what she said. That's what she told me she said. And so, it is, well, it's kind of starting simple, right? And we'll build and we'll see what happens. But it's exciting because, TV is changing. Media is constantly changing.
Right.
And this idea of not as heavy on the production side, but more on the conversation. Some people would say personality, but I'm going to say the conversation is what it looks like viewers want. And so we'll see. We're going to find out.
Well, look, it's going to be great. You've been in the space for a long time. You know what to do. And I think you're going to bring a great texture to the whole.
Shopify is a global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business and sell more with less effort thanks to the Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/redcircle, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/redcircle now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/redcircle.
Talk there because Houston talk is, especially with the sports scene, there's a lot to talk about, and a lot of people don't realize that. Yeah.
Well, and listen, we didn't do on the first show because we tape on Thursday. It airs on Friday nights. And so we didn't do a lot of college this week, but I at least did mention the games that'll be playing. And so I've made it clear that I'm going to be getting in HBCU stuff, right? So we talked about Rice and PV. We talked about TSU playing Lamar. I mean, at least, the ones that are here in the market, PV and TSU. We've got to make sure that we talk about those.
Yes.
But also, HBCU Go apparently does something with the CW, which I wasn't aware of. They carry some of their games.
Yes, they do. They've been one of the affiliates for Byron Allen for, I think, since he really started HBCU Go. And if you can find a lot of the HBCU Go games, especially the classics this year, that are going to be on CW.
Yeah. So we've been talking about that and to make sure that we include that. And I'm already covering these things, so it makes it easy because I can just drop in some content and make it easy. But I want to make sure that we include HBCUs in the work we do. We obviously are going to cover the pro scene, and we do some, and so we're doing colleges. We don't do high school because the station has a dedicated high school show, and I don't have the bandwidth to cover high school, so I'd be useless in that space. But yeah, we're going to talk some HBCU sports for sure.
Excellent. Just anytime you let us know what you need on our end to be able to give you guys some details there. But
you already know. I'm like, well, I got a HBCU expert in addition to just what I do is really mostly, like I said, TSU and PV, and really more TSU, but HBCUs in general, I'm like, I got Kyle, so I know we can get something from the legend.
Yeah. Please let us know whatever we could do to help support you, man. And that's the most important thing. But still, while I got you on the line, we talked about the book a few months ago. How's everything going for Sports My Love Language? It's complicated.
You know what, Kyle? I am, at least like once a week, I'll hear from somebody who has gotten the book and read it, and they have some amazing feedback, almost like a testimony about it. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad. I mean, it's making a difference in people's lives, and that's from what people are sharing with me. Like, I read this book, and most people will be honest and say, I was just supporting you, right? But then I read the book, and oh my gosh, I had somebody call me today and say, or actually yesterday, and say, listen, thank you for writing the book.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing the story, because it helped me with some spaces that I'm trying to move through, and it was super motivating. So I've heard that from several people who have either written me a note, sent me a card, or made a phone call. And I mean, I'm grateful, because I hope that's what it would do, but you just never know, right? I really wanted it to be not so much just about me, but something that could be inspiring and helpful for somebody else. Mm-hmm. And when I get that feedback, it makes my heart kind of smile.
Yeah. Well, your boy hasn't brought my book back, so he's stolen the book.
My guy, Kyle Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
That's your boy there. So
Yes, I claim him all day.
I'm glad somebody does. Just, but we need to get another copy over here for the Legends side. But I'm proud of you, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep banging it out. Of course, tell everybody you do Chalk Talk all the time as well. Will you still continue with that podcast?
Absolutely. Chalk Talk is my baby. You know, I've been doing Chalk Talk since 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And so whatever I do, I'm always going to do that. You know, I did a live show this week, and my goal is to do a live show, on location show this week, is to try to do an on location show once a month.
Oh,
so
cool.
that people can come by. Yeah. And so I did it at a little Mediterranean spot over near, kind of near like the Greenway Plaza area.
Okay.
So it was really cool.
Yeah.
So I plan to keep doing that. And, you know, right now this show is one day a week, and talk with the general manager today, and we'll just see how it goes and see what happens. But yeah, I'm excited about it. And of course, appreciate your support, and really was just waiting because the show actually airs the first one tomorrow, but we had to wait for corporate to sign off on the press release, and then they had to, you know, so it was like, are we going to tell people we're doing a show? We're just going to do a show, right? That's what you call corporate, right?
Yeah, you got to go through all the legal hoops and whatever. And sometimes those people, well, okay, I'm just going to leave it like that. All right, so anyway, how the Texans looking right now, Kim? I know they had the first game went down. I know you were out there in LA when they were playing the Rams, but
right.
What was the tone of the team, I guess, afterwards and this week?
So after the game, I mean, we always get coach and we get CJ at the podium, get the coach and the quarterback. And by the time we finished talking to CJ, most of the locker room had cleared out.
Okay.
I get it. You should be disappointed when you lose. And especially a game that even though they didn't play great, they still had a chance to win that game on Sunday.
Sure did.
So, so I'm glad that they were bummed about the loss, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
important.
Mm-hmm.
But then what you do is, like CJ says, the other players, or Nico Collins, hey, we got to get on. We got week 2, you know. So what do we got? What do we have to fix? Because the first thing they got to fix is all those penalties, right? Those are the things you got to control. The controllables is what Coach Ryan says. Nico says you got to control what you can, and we can control that, right? The aggressive penalties, those happen sometimes, but pre-snap, not being in the right place, your hand, those are not okay.
Right,
so they're going to clean that up this week. And then they're working on some stuff in terms of with the offense. It's a new offense and a new offensive coordinator. It's going to take them a minute. And people need to just know it takes a minute to get a new system in place and rolling. And so I think they're going to be fine. The tone is optimistic. The tone is, you know, we've got to do what we can do. That's all we can do. The sky is not falling, you know. And like CJ said today, because I just don't read a lot of, you know, because don't, you know, hate the hate and, you know, just don't do what you can do and work to improve the things you've got to fix. Because if you're listening to all the outside noise, you could get really thrown off track. And I think that's great advice.
Yeah, true. For
any of us, really.
For a lot of us in life. I know me as well. So those are good words to kind of live by. I want to get your quick thoughts before we let you go. Texas Southern is playing Lamar. Last year, Texas Southern in Lamar was up on Lamar, had a chance to win the game out there in Beaumont. And going into this game, you get a feel because I think the defense, in my opinion, especially against Prairie View, especially against what we saw last week against Cal, I was impressed because you looked at some of these other scores, how lopsided they were, 70-0 and 60-something to this. But those guys really controlled the pace. But it was the offense that really hasn't been in sync, so to speak, in my opinion. What are your quick thoughts?
I tend to agree, Kyle, and I expect that offense to do better. I think that, you know, I think KJ, I think that they're going to he's knocking the rust off, right? Because he hasn't played in a minute. They're knocking the rust off. I think that they're going to he and a big receiver. I can't think of his name right now.
Richardson. Yeah.
That's going to be a pretty impressive combination, and I expect that offense is going to get it together. The thing about offense that I think differs from defense is it takes a little more time for that chemistry and for it to gel. I mean, because you can, you got to run plays and you got to know the system and all that on defense, but you can kind of go downhill and make some stuff happen on defense. Offense, it's going to take a minute to pull some of those things together. And so I expect to see more. I mean, you mentioned last year they were basically in control of that game, and then they had like some penalties.
Yeah.
And, they kind of blew it. And I expect them to not blow it this year. At least hope they don't. I think they'll be ready.
Yeah, and if you look at what Chris Dishman has done with the defense, I have to applaud Coach Dishman there, because I really was impressed, because they had 2 takeaways that first half, and
Right.
really gave the offense opportunities in good field position to be able to do something, but they weren't able to capitalize. So
That's going to be the key, right? They've got to do that. Kind of like, with the Texans, give your defense some help.
yeah.
You got to give them some help.
Yeah, you do. You have to give them some extra possessions here and there. PV, and I'm not going to talk about the game, so to speak, because that Rice game is going to be formidable, but it's still winnable,
Right.
in your opinion. Do you think so as well?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think so, but I tell you, and that in the Classic, because which is the only game PV has played so far, they were ready. I thought the new coach had his guys ready to play. They never gave up. You could look at them and tell that they felt like they could win it until the end, and that's what you want to see, right? So hats off to them for how they showed up and how they hung with it, and for us to have to be there till after midnight, at least at the end, it was worth it. Except unless you're a TSU fan, but for us covering it, it was like some pretty good football, especially late in the game. But I don't see them being able to do much with Rice, and that's no knock on what they're doing up at PV at all.
Yeah. I think this week Coach Jackson said to the press, we expect to win every game. We expect to compete at a high level every game. And they were kind of they had that game won against Rio Grande, but they just did not come away with it. Too many penalties as well, because they lead the whole SWAC in penalties, 234 penalty yards, 22 penalties total. You can't do that. Can't not do that at all. And
that's not winning football. That's not sustainable. You got to be a little more disciplined than that. So that's something that's definitely going to have to get under control.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second, Kim. Okay. Sorry about that, Kim.
That's okay.
All right. So right now we think Lamar versus Texas Southern. That's pretty much a kind of a push game. And I think anybody who plays better and able to capitalize can be able to win that game. So PV has much more of a challenge.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Just kind of like last week, TSU had more of a challenge going out to Cal. And listen, any coach is going to say, we think we can win any game, and we prepare to play to win it. Because you can't go out like, we're just taking a money game, and we don't, like you've got to. You lose your guys if you go out and act like you're not supposed to win. You've got to coach it that way.
Yeah.
But we knew that Cal was going to be a tall task. And with Rio Grande, like you said, it was a little different with PV. And so this week it's a little different. TSU is playing Lamar, but that is a push game. They should be able to win that game. And then we'll see what PV can do with Rice. Now, I'm trying to think. Do you remember what year it was when PV beat Rice?
That was I think the Texas Southern Rice matchup was when was Andrew Body when he was a freshman. They won that game, right? I don't know
So
when PV last won against
I
Rice.
had a mix up
Yeah.
those two. Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is the first time Rice and PV has hooked up in a number of years. So,
It's been a while.
yeah, we'll see how this one goes. But last thoughts from you, Coach Tremaine Jackson. He has his coach's show right there near Third Ward.
Right.
I think it's much to do about nothing, but I think it's interesting that he does have a coach's show. What are your just immediate takeaways there?
So I quite frankly, I haven't heard the show, but take the show to where the people are, and I'm sure that there are a lot of PV alums that hang out on Alameda and perhaps go to that. It's a restaurant club. It's kind of a club bar.
It's a club
place.
bar, right?
Yeah, and so go to where your people are and try to build some excitement around what you're doing. I think it makes a lot of sense, quite frankly. And then you're right in the heart of where TSU is. I mean, I don't know if he would want to do a show in Cypress, because that's where he'd have to go to be closer to.
Who's in Cypress, though? That's the thing.
Well,
who's in Cypress?
That's the thing. Who's in Cypress? So he's closer. You want to be somewhere in the hood, and as a person who reps Third Ward, that is the place to go.
Definitely. All right, I hear you. All right, you heard that from Kim Y. Davis herself. Kim, tell everybody about the show again, where they can be able to find it, and what time.
Sure. So it's going to be on every Friday night on the CW, it's Channel 39 or whatever however you watch TV. It's the CW in Houston. It's going to come on after their 9 o'clock newscast, and so which is put on by 13 produces and
oh really? Okay.
Yeah, they do their 9 o'clock newscast every day. It airs on the CW, and that is their highest rated show on the station. So it's given us a lead in. So the show is H-Town Sports Talk. It will air every Friday night at 10 p.m. on the CW.
Awesome. And tell everybody how they can be able to find you, as well as Chalk Talk as well, and your handle on social media.
So you can find me on the Twitters at Kim Y. Davis, and you can find me on Instagram or TikTok at Kim Y. Davis Media, and on YouTube at Kim Y. Davis. And so I will always let you know on Instagram and Twitter what I have coming up. So if you'll follow me, but definitely go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Kim Y. Davis, and you can keep up with all the things I'm doing. And I look forward to engaging with you online, and definitely watch the show. And if you're like, Kim, 10 o'clock, I'm busy on Friday nights, just DVR it and watch it later.
Exactly. And your TikToks are famous as well. So you guys got to go follow her on social media.
Yeah, Kim Y. Davis Media on TikTok. I'm working on building my TikTok audience. So y'all, they engage with you on TikTok. So I appreciate all of the folk on social, but let's follow along. Let's help me build. And then I always say this, Kyle, let me hear from you. Any of the places that you follow me, or my email is easy. It's kim@kimydavis.com. If there's something that you'd like, Kim, I'm interested in this story, let me know, and we'll see what we can do.
Awesome. That's my friend Kim Davis. You guys go and support. You better support and listen to her. And she does a fantastic job. Of course, she's still with Black Sports Insiders. We're not going to give her up on that easy.
Oh, I'm not going anywhere.
All right. There you go. That's what I like to hear. Make an old man feel good about himself. All right, Kim. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Kyle.
We'll see you in the press box.
Before we go. Who do you have in the fight? I got Crawford.
I got Crawford. I got to go with my boy Terrence. I've always been a Terrence Crawford fan. I just don't understand why more people don't give him enough love and respect. And I think it's going to be kind of similar. Floyd was just a masterful defensive fighter, period.
Right.
I can see it being much of the same type of fight, but Crawford does allow people to hit him a little bit more. But I think,
Right.
hey, man, Canelo, from what I've heard, especially after interviewing a couple people from Vegas, Vegas is hot right now. So if you guys in Vegas at that fight, you're going to have a great time. It's going to be a good one.
Oh yeah.
All right. And if you're not there, you can go to Netflix and be able to watch.
Hey, listen. CJ's with us. CJ is picking Crawford as well. We were talking about it today.
Good. You need to, man, because I think really Terrence, 37 years old. I think this is probably the tail end of his career right now. And, hey, I think if he has a great showing against Canelo, is there another big fight out there? I don't know. I heard this guy named Floyd Mayweather keeps talking about coming out of retirement again. So we shall see, right? All right.
We shall see.
Well, I'll see you in the press box on Saturday. I will be watching you on Friday.
I always appreciate you, my friend.
All right.
Always.
Same here. You got a lot of love from the Kyle Squared crew here.
That's right.
Both of us, we love you.
Love y'all too. Yay.
All right. Well, this is Kyle T. Mosley. That's Kim Y. Davis. You guys go support her. And thank you for just giving us this time to be able to kind of spotlight you right now. Okay? Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate
You're welcome.
it.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
Hey, good morning, HBCU Legends fans. It's Kyle T. Mosley, and we love to be able to bring you guys the legendary figures in sports and entertainment. But not only legendary figures, we like to bring you guys who are making an impact in the community as well. And this coach has been doing it well for such a long time. I think he was one of my first interviews when I first joined SI around 3 years ago. I don't think he remembers that, but Coach Lavelle Moten of NCCU, the Eagles. Coach, you've been doing such a great job out there on the East Coast. How you doing this morning?
I'm blessed, man. How you feeling? Thanks for having me too, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for accepting our invitation because I know you have a busy schedule. But Coach, I've been so impressed over the years because I think the first time we spoke, you were talking about your foundation, and I think it was just getting up and running and some of the major things that you're about to do. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but I also wanted to get your thoughts on this gentleman, George Raveling. I know he meant a lot to most of the Black coaches in Division One, but not only Division One, across the whole spectrum in the country as well as in the world. He has made such a tremendous impact. What are your initial thoughts on his passing?
Man, I'm still trying to get over it, man. Just seeing that picture gets me emotional because he was my mentor. He was like a father figure that I never had. Obviously as a kid, I didn't know him, but I knew of him. I knew about his impact in the coaching business, along with the Nolan Richardsons and the John Thompsons and the John Cheneys and those guys of the world. And they really held it down. They stood firm on their principles and morals. And like a lot of coaches, to be honest, they're not doing that no more. They don't make them like that anymore, right? No, and so they took a lot of the beatings so that we could be in this position. So I was always extremely grateful. Then I just remember him at Iowa, and then I remember him at USC, and then I remember, all of those things. And then I remember him with Nike. And so as I became older and I got into this coaching business, as fate would have it, my agent introduced me to him. And he just pulled me to the side and we just connected. And out of thousands of coaches, like at the Final Four, it would be like the Red Sea parted when he walked through, and everybody was trying to get a touch of him and get access of him. And for some reason, he told me, he said, meet me down here tomorrow at 10 o'clock at Starbucks. And I was there at 9:30 waiting on him. And then from that moment, we just bonded. And he told me, look, I believe in you. I think you're one of the best coaches in the country. I'm going to mentor you, take you under my wing, anything you need, et cetera, et cetera. And then he said, matter of fact, would you like to coach USA basketball? I said, absolutely. And 10 minutes later, I was on USA Basketball, the only HBCU coach to coach USA Basketball under USA 19. So his impact exceeds far and beyond the basketball court. And as I got to know him, just how I conducted myself and the things I did and the things that was instrumental to people that I learned from him. Because every time you called him, he always ended the conversation with, is there anything that I can do for you? And he meant it. Right. And so he was extraordinary at cultivating and facilitating relationships. I've never seen anyone as good. And so I would always sit near him, and the who's who of everyone would call him, the Colangelos and everybody. And if he ever met a stranger that he connected with and networked with, he would ask his secretary to send that stranger a bottle of wine with a note attached. And so when I came back to North Carolina Central, anyone that I met at an outing or at a function, a dinner, a mix or whatever, I never drank, but I would go to Food Line and get all the sparkling cider. and it looked just like wine, right? And I would attach a note to it saying, nice to meet you. And it was like the gift of reciprocity, right? When you give people something, they always remember that. And so it was a genius idea and one of the many that I stole from him, man. So, I miss him. I miss his voice already. He's one of those guys that you would think would be around forever, right? Yeah. Because we needed him around forever. And I don't know if you know the Martin Luther King story behind Coach Rav.
I'm not aware.
Well, Coach Rav was a student, a basketball player at Villanova. So in '63, he just went to D.C. just to see Martin Luther King. As he gets there, they see this 6'7", 6'8", young 20-year-old dude. It's like, yo, you're going to be security. He's like, I don't know what to do with no security, right? And so, no, they said, you're going to be security. So they put him at the podium beside Martin Luther King, and he was acting as security that day. Once King finished his I Have a Dream speech, he took the speech and gave it to Coach Rav, right, off the podium. Coach Rav kept that speech for years, and so many people was asking him to sell it and so on and so forth. He kept that speech for years and ended up giving it to a museum. And that just shows you the type of man, the integrity, the principle, the value system that he possessed, right? And so that was just insane and crazy to me, So this is the guy that just guided me throughout my life, my professional life. When it was time for me to make a decision with other jobs, other coaching opportunities, I would tell every AD, every NBA team, whoever, hold on, I got to call Coach Rav first, right? And so I never did anything without his consultation. And so for that and many other things, he would be truly missed. But again, this is the guy who's partly responsible for Michael Jordan coming to Nike, right?
Exactly.
So that says it all right there, man. Just his reach and the respect and how people revere him, and he'll forever be in our hearts for that reason.
Yeah. Very, very instrumental in so many facets, right? And has touched so many lives. I know Coach Johnny Jones down here in Houston at Texas Southern, he spoke about him as well. Yeah. And it's just, we lost a legend.
Yeah,
that's the bottom line. We lost a living legend. So, but I know a person like you will carry it on. You've been doing so many great things, especially in the community, Coach, and being able to give back to your people in the community you grew up in, especially, has been pretty endearing. And you can see it when you were helping out with the back to school drive and helping with the haircuts and giving the kids backpacks, and the mothers just responding as well. Talk about that effort and what it means to you and why is it so special?
One of the things, man, that's so different, I think it's like 350 Division I coaches. And I'm not sure, I don't think it's that many that grew up the way I grew up and come from the place in which I come from. And that was the housing projects and what people deemed as the ghetto and poverty, right? So I lived in poverty over half my life, right? There was a time I lived in poverty over half my life. So I was really more comfortable in poverty than I was outside of it, right?
Gotcha.
And when you live in those circumstances and conditions, I told my mom when I was 12, I'm going to get us out of here, right? I'm going to make it out of here. I'm going to get her to a situation where she can retire and never have to work again. And then I'm going to come back and help everyone, right? Because I understood the conditions and the challenges that our people faced. As I got older, I knew that you can't lead the people unless you can feed the people, right? People don't identify with someone just putting their name on something, showing up, taking some pictures and never seeing them again, right? And so, what good is it? God has been incredible to me. What good is it for a man to profit the world, but yet lose his soul in return, right? And so, the first order of operations for me was, getting these people homes. They like the first component of an American dream is just being able to have a roof over your head, right? And so who am I to escape that, but then look back and say, I'm not helping you, right? Come on, that don't even make sense because there's so many people in that neighborhood that provided fish plates and sponsored my AAU tournaments when I couldn't afford it, allowed me to go to their homes when my mother was working 2 and 3 jobs and they were like my babysitter, et cetera, et cetera. Like it gave me food when I was hungry. I will never forget about my neighborhood and our people in those circumstances. So first order of operations was just putting affordable roofs over their head, like true affordable housing. And so I partnered with 2 friends that grew up in the same community, and we were able to do that. And so in our community, by 2027, we'll have over 1,000 affordable housing units, right?
Whoa.
And so yeah. So that's beautiful. They tore my old housing project down where my grandmother lived, and we just did like some new style cottages of Idlewild. That's what it's called. They like cottage style homes. That's really dope. And the people that move into those 18 units there can actually receive equity out of it. So they're not just renting, they're being able to receive equity out the affordable housing. It's the first time ever done in North Carolina. So awesome. we were extremely happy for that, man. And so, it's what my grandmother would have wanted me to do because she was a pillar in the community. And she always helped someone. And I just think that's the Bible. That's the story of the Bible, right? Sacrificing something for the betterment of other people, right? Being blessed to be a blessing to other people. Like the story of the Bible is nothing but sacrifice to me. And I stand firm on that in my Christian values, right? And so I've always tried to do that. I ain't been a perfect man, but I've always tried to be a good man and a man that sacrificed and helped others. So we did that through affordable housing. Next month, I got my 12th annual Single Mothers Salute Celebration where I honor 150 single mothers in the community. We have a back to school community day that we did for 17 years where we give the kids book bags, school supplies, haircuts, shoes, manicures, pedicures, all of those things. And, truth of the matter is I've been doing all of that stuff for close to 20 years. Basketball camps, it just gets more publicity now because I'm in the position at North Carolina Central. But I've been doing it way before I got to North Carolina Central, right? And so out of the amazing thing is, out of 365 days a year, I promise you, I probably only devote 8 days to all of those things. Right. Like, so.
But those are 8 meaningful days, though, Coach.
8 meaningful days. But I got an incredible team. I got incredible partners. Well, I don't have to show up. I don't have to be in the trenches of it. Like every event runs itself now because I've done the lead work for so long. Right. So, I don't have to spend but 2 days out the year with Riley Raced. Right. Mm-hmm. And so people at this university probably spend more time on boards, playing golf and at mixers and at lunches and with fraternities and sororities and so on and so forth than I do with all the things that I do, right? And so I've learned how to delegate those responsibilities, and I learned how to hire some incredible people around me that make me look a lot better than I deserve.
Well, that's awesome, man. And I know in October you have this single mother salute that's coming up.
Yes.
Talk about that just quickly.
Man, it's going to be incredible. Like, it's my 12th annual. And again, all of these things that I do are deeply personal to me, right? Because I was the product of a single mother. And in honest, my mother had him at Dougal, so she's in the middle. She's the third from the left on that. And this year, we have David Banner coming to speak. You know, he's a good friend of mine, and I just wanted to switch it up and give the ladies a man's perspective this year, right? And so we honor 150 single moms in the community for their hard work, dedication, and sacrifice, and we'll give over $100,000 worth of prizes, man. With these mothers will have trips to Dubai and Puerto Rico.
Whoa,
and like
really?
it's unreal. It's unreal. It's unreal. They get
Did you get a lot of corporate help?
Yeah, I got a lot of corporate sponsorship. Shout out to Coastal Federal Credit Union. The Sheraton has been incredible to me. So IBM, like Pinnacle Bank, and so Amazon, Google. And you know what the most beautiful thing, Pepsi, you know what the beautiful thing about all this? Everything that I do, I bring those partnerships back to North Carolina Central to help, right? So It's not, I'm out here and it's separate and it's the Lavelle. No, every corporate sponsorship that you see on any flyer with Vail Cares, I bring them back to North Carolina Central University. Google, Amazon, Coastal Federal Credit Union, Pepsi, it goes on and on and on. So, you know, that was the way I wanted to introduce our university into rooms that they probably couldn't get in before as well.
That's incredible. And congratulations. That's going to be a great event, but it's going to be great to impact those lives of those single mothers.
Yes.
And that's something they'll never will forget, Coach.
Yes.
And just to be able to reach back and help ladies, and a lot of guys don't understand. Ladies are struggling just to be able to make it. They have kids, and they're trying to be able to work at the same time. Some of them, as well as take care of their kids, provide a great home and education for them. So I applaud you, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
That's great. So you're doing all this, Coach, and you talk about Raveling. I think you're on your way. I just wanted to let you know that. All right.
Thank you, man.
You know, I grew up in New Orleans, but not too far from Baton Rouge. You know, you got work done, and look at all the years what he's been able to do for single mothers and families who are struggling.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Homes in Baton Rouge area, man.
Yeah.
You know, especially how he lost his mom.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Those are things are. I think these should be some of the feature stories versus, you know, if a guy had how many points or a sneaker did.
Yeah, because we all, let's be real, like we all just been blessed by God, right?
Exactly.
So none of this is ours, right? And so, like, the gift that he gave you is yours. How you utilize that is your gift in return to him. That's right. And I'm a firm believer. And I tell people all the time, like, the one thing about growing up in the hood, I did everything. Like, basketball was my third best thing that I did. Like, people thought I was going to the major league, right? Baseball. I was a much better baseball player, much better quarterback. I played the piano. I sung. I danced. I did choreography. I was breakdancing, DJing, whatever. I did everything because the first train that was going to get me out them projects, I was going to hop on it. You know what I'm saying? And so what you learn is that my grandmother told me the two most important days of your life is the day that you were born and the day you figure out why. A lot of people
knowing your purpose,
purpose, right? And your career. So many times, especially in America, in this world, our purpose is attached or defined by what we do, right? By our vocation, by our jobs. That, like, basketball is what I do. It's not who I am, right? It's 3 hours a day. Now, the other 21 hours a day, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a chairman, I'm a CEO, I'm a businessman, I'm a motivational speaker. Like, God has blessed me to be able to do other things. So I think, to your point with Warwick, like, your career is what you get paid to do, but your calling is what you were made to do, right? And so people really have to understand that. And I think once they understand that, the world will be a better place.
Man, that's so very important. I remember when I was just getting out of Morehouse, one of my friends, she finished from Dillard, and she sent me a tape. I was like, oh, who's this guy on this tape? It was Miles Monroe. And that's when he was talking about your purpose, understanding your purpose. And he said something that was so pivotal for me, and kind of helped focus me. He said, the richest place in the world is the cemetery, because so many dreams and hopes and things that could have been impacting the lives of so many people died with people because they never had the courage to move forward and move on their dreams. And I was like, wow, isn't that something? And I was just like, I gotta get up and do something. Being a Morehouse man, I always thought I could do anything anyway. So. But that was so pivotal to me, man. And I like what you're saying. More young men need to be able to follow and try to understand what their purpose is in this life.
Perfect. Yes, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's talk about one of your jobs, We'll talk about the coaching.
The main thing
is the Eagles. Last year, it wasn't the outcome that you guys wanted, but you still had a solid team. Talk about the team going forward in 2025.
Well, to be honest with you, man, I'm a straight shooter, so it's the only way. NIL in this collective and this, like, it's affected us, it impacted us like you wouldn't imagine. Each year we're losing our best player. Each year we're losing our entire team. I think we're one of the only schools not to have opted in this year, right? And so it's very simple. If you don't have money, it's hard to compete and contend. So I have to do a more creative job, and we have to do a more creative job as a university and coming together and catching up with this train and figuring out how we can not only return this program back to its prominence, but just keep up with the Joneses, right? Like, that's just what it's about now, because everyone is giving kids money, and it's difficult to recruit when a kid that averaged 2 points at another school is asking you for $40,000 because other schools have offered it. Yeah. Right. And so it's just the name of the game now. You got to have money in order. Like, it's no such thing as recruiting. You're just paying for play. That's just what it is. Right. And so, we have to adjust and adapt to that. And then, as far as our non-conference schedule this year, I'm excited about my team. I like my team. We got some young men. They're working extremely hard. They're playing extremely hard. Our non-conference schedule, if you look at it, is brutal, right, to say the least, right?
That's what I was going to ask you, man. I was just looking at coming out the gate, you guys
it's
getting
brutal.
Some heavyweights.
Yeah, it's brutal. And, the university, just needed we needed to supplement some things financially. And
so the resources from those games are going to help the university as a whole. That's what you're saying.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And so I had to sacrifice more than I normally did because, I wouldn't normally schedule anything like that because it's brutal. Right. And so our main thing is trying to be healthy and energized for MEAC play. Right. But when you're playing against all of these teams, you get banged and bruised up. Right. It's a lot. Right. And then you got to turn it around in 2 days and play them and so you got to have an extraordinary strength and conditioning program, food and nutrition table to even be able to get these guys and allow them to recoup, to get back on the floor just to be able to compete at 100%. Right. And so I know the mentality, I know, the challenges that's associated with it and the mental wear down that it could have on, the young men. And so I did it this year, and then next year we got to go back to the drawing board and make our schedule back how we once did it, because the main thing is getting this team to the MEAC healthy, right, in order to compete for a MEAC championship.
Okay. Well, Coach, we're looking at this. You got NC State, you got Virginia, then you have Dayton, and you have James Madison, and then the only HBCU guys you guys had with your non-conferences, A&T,
right?
And then you have to play Kentucky, and Penn State. Wow,
yeah,
it is brutal.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal. So, we're gonna go out and we're gonna compete. We're gonna do what we do, right? And they got to throw that basketball up, and our young men are excited about the opportunity, and hopefully we can just come out of those games healthy, right? And being able to get to the next one so we can get prepared for MEAC play.
MEAC, do you think you guys have a good chance, or is it just like you said, let's see how what happens this first half of the season?
Well, I like our chances every year in the MEAC.
Okay.
We've won. I think since I've been here, we've won 8 championships in 14 years or so. So I like our chances more than enough. We won 4 regular season four regular season championships and 4 conference championships. So, it's always fun to compete, because now that starts your second season, right? I just want us to be healthy and energized and clicking on all cylinders. When you hit that, what is it, that January 15th slate, I think that's when it begins, if off the top of my head. So we have to be prepared, and the MEAC is mentally tougher, right? Because it's 8 dogs chasing one bone. I like to use that analogy. It's 8 dogs chasing one bone. So if you ever seen one bone and 8 dogs and how they try to get after it, that's a perfect analogy of what happens once MEAC season hits. And you're playing everyone twice. There's a lot of fighting, right? So you can, put your mouthpiece in, lace your bootstraps up, and cute ain't gonna get you out that gym. I can promise you that.
I got you, man. Of course, everybody looks at those guys up at Norfolk as a potential, problem to kind of resolve. Then you got Howard and everything as well. Howard's going through some changes, losing Mr. Blake Harper, of course. So, but like you say, NIL has affected the way people do business these days, right? Especially
100%.
HBCUs. All right. So good luck on that season, man.
Thank you so much.
Travis Williams from HBCU All-Star Game, he was able to honor you with the President's Lifetime Achievement Award this past game. How did that make you feel?
I got a tremendous amount of respect for Travis, and, with the HBCU alliance and initiative that he created, and just being able to showcase HBCUs on CBS. That was absolutely incredible. He's done a tremendous job, so shout out to Trav. But the award you're talking about was actually the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. So that came from the White House.
Oh, it came from the White House.
That came from the White House.
I apologize.
Right? So that's okay. That actually came from the White House. And so it was President Biden at the time.
Okay. That's what I was about to ask. Which administration?
Yeah, it was President Biden at the time. Okay. And he sent a letter, and it was shocking to receive it, and it's always refreshing to be honored for things that you're doing for other people, right? And so, when I look at things like that, man, I don't get too outside myself, because again, I know the kid that I was, and I knew God looks after children and fools, and I was both wrapped up in one. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm right there with you, Coach. I understand.
I was both wrapped up in one. So he looked at me and like, man, I gotta spend a little more time on this boy right here. So I know where I come from, and I know who gives me the power and the strength of what I'm able to do. And so when I receive awards such as that, it's so much greater than me. Like I instantly think of my mother. I instantly think of my grandmother for instilling those values to want to help people, right? And do things for others from a gracious and a pure place, not for clicks and likes. And so, everything that I do comes from a gracious and pure place. It's the authenticity for me, because I was once that child, right? Everything that I do. So it's incredible and refreshing to be rewarded from it.
Awesome. Coach, I know over the years, and I know you just kind of alluded to earlier in our conversation, when opportunities come, you had to rely on Coach Ravlin's voice and his thoughts. And I'm pretty sure opportunities will keep knocking your way. Do you think there's a possibility that you may consider elsewhere outside of NCCU at this time?
Man, I always leave all my options on the table. I just think that's the rightful thing to do, right, in society, because that's what everyone does, right? And I've had an incredible loyalty to this university, because the truth of the matter is most HBCU coaches, when they have a fraction of success at HBCU, they on the first thing smoking, right? They on the first thing smoking, right? Yeah. And so, man, I probably turned down maybe 15 jobs in my tenure here, 3 NBA jobs, all of those things. And, for me, it's not where you work at, it's who you work for, right? Like, that's always been incredibly important to me. And the responsibility I have, as a man, first and foremost, is just to make sure my family is going to be okay with the situation. So, who knows what opportunities will come about, and if and when they do come about, I'll sit down with my family and pray on it, and we evaluate every situation from there like we always do.
Well, and that's important. That's important. As far as keeping your options open, I know the NBA has been plucking some HBCU coaches and some assistants out here and there and giving them more opportunities as well. So from a media standpoint, we like to talk about it, but from a standpoint how that affects the HBC programs, sometimes people forget that kind of sets some programs back a little bit, right? Especially to lose somebody like your caliber if you decide to go on. But I'm not trying to give you any guilt trip, but it does happen. You know what I'm saying?
Right. 100%.
So, all right. Well, Coach, man, thank you for all that you've done and continue to do. And any last thoughts or any last things you would like to tell people about anything with your foundation or with the Eagles that we don't know?
Yeah. First and foremost, please come out to North Carolina Central and support us. The schedule is online. Got an exciting group this year, man, and they're going to need every bit of your assistance and support along the way. So, please continue to do that for those who are. And if you haven't, please continue to do so and join the club. So that's pretty much it. My foundation is Vale Cares Foundation. It's on all social media platforms, and just looking forward to an exciting basketball season.
And can people help out with the Eagles? Are there any ways they would like to contribute and sponsor the team?
NCCU Men's Basketball Foundation. That's if you want to write a check, definitely make it out to NCCU Men's Basketball Foundation. And so we'll take the kind that jingle, but we prefer the kind that folds. You can believe that. We'll take the kind that jingle, but we prefer the kind that folds. But we welcome all donations in all honesty.
All right. Awesome. Coach, you and your family, I hope everything continues to go well with you guys, as well as the foundation and the Eagles this coming season. Let's not make this the last time you and I have a conversation, man.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for having me, man. It's been incredible. I appreciate you.
Thank you. That's Coach Lavelle Moten of the NCCCU Eagles. Guys, go support those guys as well as support that foundation. And Coach, how can they find you out there on the World Wide Web?
Lavelle Moten on all of the things. I just do Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and that's too much. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't got no TikTok. I might have a TikTok. I think my kids set up something for TikTok, but I don't know how to TikTok. So those are the 3, right? Just my name, Lavelle Moten.
Yeah, my son tried to get me on TikTok too. I still don't understand.
Man, it's too much, man. I got all this stuff too much. If they shut social media down tomorrow, I'm okay with all that too. Like this, because we grew up without it, so we ain't gotta have it.
Right. Our social media was hooking up,
people, riding bikes,
making a phone call, riding the bikes, man. Yeah. What happened to riding your bike around the neighborhood? Right?
Man, look, what happened to neighborhoods? I don't see. Like we don't even have neighborhoods anymore. Most people don't know their neighbor's name. You know what I'm saying?
my pastor said this, and I remember he said this nearly 20 years ago. He said, we're coming to a point where you lost the neighborhood, where all people do is drive up to their house, let the garage door up, drive in, let it down, and next thing you know, you see them again when they're leaving.
That's it.
So,
wash, rinse, and repeat. That's exactly what it is, man.
Going and coming, but little interaction any longer in the neighborhood.
Absolutely, so, absolutely, 100%.
Coach, it's been a pleasure, man. And look, good luck to you guys. Guys, you can follow HBCU Legends on all social media platforms at HBCU Legends. And you can be able to follow me, KT Mose, Kyle Mosley at KTMOZE on all those social media platforms as well. Coach, thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you. Thank you, brother.
All
Take care of yourself.
You too.
Shopify is a global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business and sell more with less effort thanks to the Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/redcircle, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/redcircle now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/redcircle.